Ohio State has won the national championship 34-23. We'll see if that score changes, but we're just going to go ahead and record this thing right now. Ohio State is going to win the national championship. Cade Kennedy here alongside Tyler Riggs. Recapping this one, quick instant reaction, thoughts, whatever you want to call it. A valiant effort by Notre Dame to come back into this thing, but at the end of the day, Tyler, this is just simple football. You cannot get yourself into a 24-point deficit and expect to win a national championship game.
No, you can't. Like I said, valiant effort by Notre Dame to at least make it a challenge. But part of that was, too, it felt like, especially in the second half, Ohio State was just making sure, hey, we're going to, play our game, but we're not going to take too big a risk, right? Just make sure that you're being smart with it. Kind of what we'd seen a lot from, the Josh Heupel Tennessee team this year, where it's like, hey, we know we got our advantage, so let's make sure, we're not doing anything too crazy. That being said, Notre Dame almost did it, but boy, Ohio State at the end just too talented.
Absolutely. And you look at it, that first quarter could not have gone better for Notre Dame. First 10 minutes, they played perfectly, but Ohio State woke up, got that offense going, kind of turned that into what we thought it'd be a defensive battle, you would think, or just a slower offense kind of game, giving that illusion of it. That's what Ohio State was able to do with back-to-back 6-minute TD drives. You look at time of possession, it's going to favor Ohio State. Notre Dame, a third of their time of possession came on that opening drive. That happens sometimes. Notre Dame, that game plan worked early, but like you mentioned, Ohio State just slowly continuing to play their game, pull away. You look at total yards, 445 to 291, and just going to the box score here that you can look at as the official final popping up. Will Howard, phenomenal game. Near perfect first half, and then didn't have to do anything in the second half. It turned into Will Howard using his legs. Quinshon Judkins, 100-yard game. Travion Henderson, 4.1 average in terms of rushing yards. This was Ohio State's offense on full display. And I'd said it in the preview, if you saw that I don't think Notre Dame's going to have a way to contain Ohio State fully the way you saw Texas able to. And unfortunately for Notre Dame fans, ended up being correct about that.
Yeah, like you said, the way the game started, you think, oh boy, Notre Dame, nearly a 20-play drive, 18-play drive, 75 yards, offensive line's kicking butt, Riley Leonard's going, and Ohio State, it was trying to find some early, in that first quarter, and it seemed like after that first quarter, Ohio State really woke up on both sides of the ball, right? You see them start to shut down Notre Dame. Offensively, they really get rolling that second quarter, and I think that's when Cade, Ryan Day, this Ohio State team kind of realized, oh, Notre Dame doesn't have an answer for us. You mentioned Will Howard. What another fantastic game from him was. Really, for a guy that came into the season probably not high on the pro scout radar, right? I don't see how he didn't help himself this year. This was a fantastic performance from start to finish in the playoffs after what was a really good regular season that was kind of marred by the Michigan game and that slide in the Oregon game. He played really good in that Oregon game, right? We forget that. That slide is what you remember. But, man, what a performance from him. And just, you talk about pounding the ball. Ohio State, Cade, in my mind, played Notre Dame's game better than Notre Dame did tonight. That's what the big difference was. You average 5 yards a carry, pound it 40 times. You get production from Judkins, Howard, and Henderson. Huge there, huge.
Absolutely. You talk about out Notre Dame. Notre Dame, 26 carries for 53 yards. Just had nowhere to go after that opening drive. Riley Leonard, half of his carries came on that opening drive and just was not able to get anything. Got sacked time after time. This Ohio State defense, they came to play. You're going to look at that 23 number and say, well, are you sure about that? They did. You get some mistakes and a little bit of momentum going. But I want to talk about one thing coaching decision-wise. I think it's going to be the thing that it didn't shoot Notre Dame completely out of the game. It wasn't a blow your foot off type of mistake, not just shooting yourself in the foot, but blowing the whole foot off. Kicking a field goal down 16 to make it a 13-point game, and then you miss the field goal anyway. I understand the line of thinking there where, hey, if we can get another stop or two, it takes that having to go for two out of the equation. But you're already at the 7-yard line. I would think it'd be just, we're already down here. There's 9 minutes left in the game. You've already had to make these high risk, high reward decisions. Just go for it. Put the game on the line. Trust your offense to get the job done while they have some momentum.
That's definitely probably one of the biggest head scratchers. The other one, Cade, when you go back and look at that box score, what do you see? Jeremiah Love, 4 carries. Jeremiah Love, 2 catches.
Absolutely.
You got Jeremiah Love, 6 total touches in this game. When, coming into it, the Notre Dame camp was saying, oh, he's, as full health as he can be, 95%. So is that smoke and mirrors? How hurt was Jeremiah Love really? Because if you look at the box score, you think either he got knocked out of the game early or he suffered an injury, because there's no way in a national championship game with the talent that Jeremiah Love is that you only get him the ball 6 times. Now, part of that you can say, well, the pace of the game, how Ohio State jumped ahead in that second quarter, that kind of dictated that maybe a bit. But even then, I mean, you're telling me you can't squeeze in a couple more carries for Jeremiah Love to use his game breaking abilities, or at least try to target him a few more times? That to me was, outside that field goal. I was sitting there wondering all game, like, where is Jeremiah Love? And don't get me wrong, Riley Leonard, hey, admirable performance, and what he was trying to do. But he can't win the game for you. He's not that type of guy. He's not going to put it on his shoulders. They needed Jeremiah Love in this game, and I'm curious to see what Coach Freeman will say is the reason why they didn't get him the ball more.
Absolutely. And you'd think maybe they would turn into a Jadarian Price taking the mantle, but he only had 3 carries. I mean, it's
Yeah,
when you have we talked about it, a great running back duo that you have, and Riley Leonard makes that really a triple threat in the run game, and your 2 running backs get 7 carries. That'll definitely be a story. I thought we were going to have one there at the end. Ohio State back-to-back QB draws, but then the classic play, Tyler. If Jeremiah Smith is on one-on-one, I don't care how good your arm is. You throw the ball in Jeremiah Smith's direction and pray that he can make a big play. And he was open, and Ohio State was able to seal it that way. I thought for a moment that, oh boy, Ohio State's really going to do this. They're going to turtle up, so to speak. They're going to choke this thing. Notre Dame's going to get one last crack at it, but Ohio State was able to pull it away. That's why you have the talent you do. Ryan Day officially off the hot seat. You would think, right? You won your national title. It's been a whole decade. We can put that behind us. That whole era, for now at least, can be put behind us. What a story, It's weird to say what a story for a blue blood like Ohio State. I know I saw some people on social media, just the whole, is this really some miracle Cinderella story? It's a blue blood. It's one of the top 2 programs in the history of the sport. And I'd say it is. You look at an Ohio State team that lost at Oregon and got bullied at home by Michigan, a team that, what was the narrative going back into that Tennessee game? Look at all the Tennessee fans coming to the stadium. Is Ryan Day going to get fired? You had the whole debacle with the flag planting incident, the fight that followed that. For Ohio State to go from where we were at the end of November to where we are at the end of the season is just nothing short of remarkable. An amazing 2-month turnaround for the Buckeyes.
it is. I mean, that's what makes it the Cinderella part, right? Everything was heading in the wrong direction for this program. You mentioned Ryan Day, hearing all the chatter of this team. Hey, you're coming well short of the money that was supposedly spent on you. But these guys are humans, and they rose, met the opportunity, said, no, we're better than that. And you got to give them credit for that. And I think as a whole, Cade, it's an evolution of Ryan Day, right? You mentioned that play to essentially end it, to throw it over the top there in that situation. The old Ryan Day, they run the ball again, they turtle up. He said, no, we're ending this now. I'm going to trust Will Howard. I'm going to trust my guys, and we're going to get this done. That's an evolution of Ryan Day. That's a Ryan Day that before this playoff run, I didn't know if that guy was there, but he's there. And so now you got to look at Ohio State and say, hey, we've got a guy in Ryan Day that's figured it out. He's gotten over the hump. They're a dangerous team and program from here on out, regardless of who plays for them, because they've got that confidence in him. He's proven to that program, to those people, that he can be the guy.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And to wrap things up on the Notre Dame side of things, I mean, yeah, it's always going to sting when you have a game like this. The opportunities, you're going to go back and look at it. But if you're Notre Dame, and I think you could probably agree with what I'm about to say, this is the best Notre Dame team I can remember, not just in terms of success. They got to the national title game. They did not get blown out like they did in 2012. That helps a lot too. But in terms of how this Notre Dame team adapted, kind of the same thing I said about Ohio State. They're not the same team from the Northern Illinois game. We can harp on that all day long. But to see their progression the entire season and what they were able to do against Georgia and Penn State, I'd said it before and I'll say it one last time. This is the first Notre Dame team in a long time that I felt could actually win the national title. You come up short, but you showed in that second half the grittiness, the toughness that Notre Dame's had all season.
Yeah, and I think that's going to carry, right? We talked about the evolution of Ryan Day. How about Marcus Freeman? I mean, to take and rally his guys from that early season loss to NIU and all hope lost. Everybody's, hey, this team doesn't deserve to be ranked. You know, they're done. That was the narrative, and I think it speaks to his growth. Be able to take those guys and say, look, you know, we've got nothing but opportunity ahead of us every week. Just going to go in, work, and get better and let the results take care of themselves. You can say what you want about Notre Dame being out of conference, this side, the other being independent, but Marcus Freeman, this is a huge growth point for him, right? It's a learning experience. It sucks to lose it like that, especially to your alma mater. You know, he wanted that win, but I think he's going to be able to use this. If there's any indications from the loss to NIU and how they bounce back, they're going to be better as a program going forward. He'll be better as a coach going forward from this national championship loss. Promise you, Notre Dame very much should be a contender right again next season. No matter who they've got at quarterback.
Absolutely, and that's the big takeaway I think of it for both sides. Ohio State 34-23, the win over Notre Dame. Folks, as always, if you enjoy this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell button by these subscribe buttons, the notification bell. It allows you to be notified when new videos come out, and hit the subscribe button, notification bell. That's not the only thing you need to do besides liking the video. If you want to leave a comment down below, we always do appreciate those. You know, when we do our kind of college football wrap-up video for the season, which technically, Tyler, with the weather we're having here in Oklahoma, we might be able to knock that out sometime later in the week. But, you know, once we get to that, you know, leave a comment down below. Leave a suggestion. What was your favorite moment of the 2024 season? You know, what your takeaways were from the season as a whole or just this game. But, folks, as always, until next time, have a good one, everybody.